Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
Welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops.
Wow, that was not a very good welcome, Coach. As your
I'm
energetic.
depressed. I'm having a bad day, and Coach is being very patient with me. But Happy New Year's, everyone. First of all, New Year's Eve, if you're listening on the 31st. Coach got distracted. His son came in, forgot to hit record, was in again. Anyway.
So it was just Coach and I talking to one another.
We just talked to each other about
our topic
of how to teach an offense. But before we jump into that, I always look too to see if it's recording, and I don't know why I didn't do it. But anyway,
well, in over 200 episodes that we've done together, it's the first time you've not done that. So kudos to you.
Wow. Thanks for doing what you're supposed to do. I got up and got dressed today too. Are you proud of me? Brushed my teeth. Anyway. So sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm apologizing to Coach. It's like I'll owe you. I'll buy you an extra piece of Chicago pizza when we meet in Chicago.
Deep dish pizza.
Deep dish. Got a good place.
I can't wait for April. I gotta get skinny though before I come.
Yeah, deep dish.
I want prime rib and deep dish pizza when I come back to Chicago.
Oh, I'm having prime rib.
That'll be a good trip.
That'll be good. I'll find great prime rib. I love great prime rib. Deep dish, a great place right across from where we're going to be staying. And
awesome.
Don't even we can walk 15 feet. It would be great. Or have them deliver it. But it takes an extra, it takes like an hour 20, hour 30 to do deep dish.
We'll be talking.
We'll have a couple of sodas. Okay, we can do that. All right. So before we jump into today's topic, which we'll be really good at because we've already talked about it. Let's give a big shout out to our sponsor, Coach.
Sure. Coaches, go check out gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Game changer. One of my go-to tools in my toolbox. Helps me keep stats on my team. So I think one of the big problems with, as coaches, we're in a game and they didn't score that many, or we didn't have that many turnovers. Oops, the numbers say differently, right? So you can go back, look at game film. They break it down for you. You can see, we need to correct a few things. Go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops for all your needs when it comes to tracking stats.
He paused there.
And I did. That was my dramatic pause, Coach.
Coach kind of
gc.com/coaching youth hoops.
You send me show notes sometimes, and sometimes it says coaching youth hoops.com, and I go, that's not right for the URL, so I always fix it. But anyway, we both make mistakes. I got your back. Also, what else? Tell them what else you're working on in 2024.
Right before this call, I was actually doing a little bit more work on it. Coaches, go check out coachingyouthhoops.com/drills. We listened. We heard your requests. We want to create a drill database. You input your struggles, and we will return our suggestions on the best drills that we know work. We're not scouring the internet, finding everything just to give you a big dump. We're giving you information that we know works, that we've used, and that we get feedback from coaches. So go check it out at coachingyouthhoops.com/drills. We would love your feedback on that new tool. It's only going to get better over time. And the more feedback we have from you, the better we serve our community.
For sure. So what's today's topic, Coach?
Well, today we're going to talk about how do you teach an offense to youth players? And this comes up a lot. and it's one of those things that we put so much emphasis on the offense. And, it's a focal point because, well, you have to have an offense to score, right? But
Right.
coaches also get frustrated when the kids aren't, quote unquote, running the offense the right way, right?
And it's a hard thing to teach at the
And
youth
it's a
level.
very hard thing to teach.
It's hard when you have limited amount of time. What do you put in? What's important? How do you go about it? And then you have the other side of the court too. It's like the game is, you know, defense too.
Right,
So
right.
how do you work on that and the offense and do it? And you and I were talking prior that the most important thing to teach is spacing.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and it's probably the hardest thing to do. uh, you
yeah.
know, keeping them in the right spots, keeping them moving, keeping them active is a difficult thing. It really is. Um,
Well, and then let's start this way. Think about like spacing, okay? And this is why there's 101 ways to teach the game, and you know, your parents and sitting in the stands have their own way they would approach it, right? If they played before, and that's where a lot of conflicts come in. Uh, so you have to think, take the spacing concept, and if it's the only thing you're going to teach is spacing, and I coach and I would, teach it all the time at every level, it's space, space, space. Um, uh, how do you as a coach want to create space? So
right.
now back into that. If the objective to teaching an offense is space, space is your offense. I always say that. I always talk about the ABCs of an offense. Always be creating space. And I'll say that to the kids because it's really easy. ABCs or space, right? Space. How do I want to create it? So if you're looking at the blitz offense, we create space using down screens. So we create triple gaps through the down screens and then through a ball handoff. So that's two ways we create space. The rule of three. How are you creating space in the rule of three, coach, as an example?
Uh, I'm gonna wait on that. This is gonna be a little bit of a tease. Let's give
Okay.
a big shout out to our other sponsor. You
Yeah,
know, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Coaches, go check out Curve. Go to coachingyouthhoops.com/health. They are providing our listeners with a free assessment, and they'll give you assessment on your team's mental health, nutritional health, sleep habits, and also injury prevention. They use advanced AI techniques just with a phone. Kids answer a few questions to come with that data, and then at that point, you will get an aggregate report on the status of your team, and then you can make the needed adjustments from there. It's a great, great simple tool. Go check it out again, coachingyouthhoops.com/health.
All right. So here's how we do it in the rule of three. Um, so I passed the Coach Bill here. Okay, what
Hmm.
can I mean, it's called the rule of three because what can I do? I can go screen, I
Hmm.
can go cut, or I can fake a screen and kind of slip to the basket, right? So there's only so many. So I try to break it down into pieces where we'll just work on slipping, we'll just work on screening, we'll just work on cutting. Cutting's probably the easiest thing to teach. Every kid can kind of cut. Um, but you know, I think you got to break it down into those nuances for them, especially at the youth level.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just going to work on pass and cut. And then once they get good at that and they're filling the spots, then you work on another step within that or something like that. Um, but I think what we were talking about the last time we did this podcast, we were talking about is you can't run an offense unless you're skilled at passing, shooting,
That's right. Yeah.
cutting. Like you have to have those skills already down. So that's where a lot of the teaching an offense can be within, letting them learn it within some small sided stuff, some 2-on-2, some 3-on-3, where they are all getting to participate, all getting to be active, all getting to learn. The finding of the space, I think, is important.
Yeah, and talking about fundamentals, if space again is key, You back into the 2 or 3 things you want to do to create the space, but you can't do any of those things if you don't have the fundamentals in place, right? So learning how to shoot, how to finish at the rim, how to pivot, right? How to do a cut, how to do a screen. So you need to teach those things. And even if, again, a basic offense could be every time you pass, you cut, and then you fill one of the spots. That could be
Right.
your
Yeah,
simple offense,
it can be,
right?
and you can get painter's tape and put it on the floor, and they have to, like, especially for the littles, they just got to run to one of those spots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I think that's an easy concept to teach.
I had a coach that told me he didn't have a very talented team, so his whole offense was after you pass, you have to screen on ball. That was it. So at a young level, right? Again, this wasn't a high school level, this grade school team just had to, yeah. So he kept it real simple rules, and that's an offense, right?
Yeah,
It helps create the space that you need, um, and then as they get better at those things, then you can start layering in one more action. So now it's screen and then roll, right?
right.
But the best thing to do is just keep it super simple, break it down into its pieces, but have an objective. And the objective in this case, what Coach and I both agree on, is I'm trying to create space. Trying to create
Right.
space so I have room to drive to get to the basket to create a shot.
No,
Do you agree?
I
Yeah.
100% agree. I think that's the key to be able to attack it.
I think
I
we
think
overcomplicate it as
we
coaches,
do.
right?
Keep it simple. Keep it
Yeah.
simple.
Well, and then we think, we see college,
Yeah, but
right,
they're just
run
different. Even
amazing
even
offense,
if you
and
look at a mid high school team and you look at a high school team, there's such a difference. Like,
yeah,
I've been watching today, some coaches that are inside of my championship access. They sent me some tape, and it's like I just look at their team and I look at our team. I mean, it's just there's just different levels. Not that anyone's better than the other, but it's just the speed at which the game's played, the
that's
ability
right.
that they
Yeah.
can do things and create. Um, you know, we we lost 88-87. You would think no one's playing defense, but no, these kids can, like, at that level can just score.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they can just, like, I'm not putting anyone on the floor that can't put the ball in the hole. So again, that's different. But going back to us, is teaching offense is, how do they get to that point? They're able to shoot, they're able to dribble, they're able to create space, they're able to do all those things.
Well, and I think it's just setting the expectations for yourself as a coach too.
Right.
It's not going to be a fine tuned automobile, right? That you're
No.
going to put out there and they're just going to run it and do it. Kids, just like we're human, right?
Yeah.
Where
Right.
under pressure, you might crack.
Right.
So it takes reps and just takes time on the court. But
It
if you
does.
want to get good, come up with that concept. Coach and I agree, it's space. Back into how you want to create the space.
Yep.
Work and then work on the fundamentals. And I think you'll go a long way of creating an offense just focused on that.
Yep.
You can pull an offense off the shelf. Coach and I talked about the blitz. All it is you talked about the blitz and rule of three. It's just different ways to create space in a structured way.
Offense. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And so,
All right. Anything else, Coach?
Coach, go check out Rule of Three and the Blitz offense. Go to Coaching Youth Hoops. You'll see a drop-down menu that says Offensive Finder, and you can fill in a few questions, and we'll return the best fit offense based on your team's needs.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that nifty? Wow.
It's a great tool.
I know, it's a great tool. All right, till next week, Coach.
Till next week.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.